Started hot. He hit 7 of his first 8 shots, including 6 threes. However, he was not able to keep that pace up, scoring only 13 in the final 3 quarters in that Warriors 120-108 loss. Shannon, give Steph a letter grade for last night's performance.
Skip, I gave him an A- because I thought he played really, really well. He just needed someone to go along with him. He needed Jordan Poole, and that's normally what happens. He normally gets Jordan Poole to go along with him. He'll normally get Clay. Like you said, Clay has been kind of hit or miss, Skip, except the closeout games. Game 6 against Memphis, we know what he did. Game 5 against the Mavs, we saw what he did with the 16 threes in those 2 games. But last night, he needed someone else because, Skip, as hot as he was in the first quarter, they only had 32 points. He had 21 of them. Normally, a situation like that, maybe somebody else gets another 8, 9, 10. That's a 40, 42, 44-point quarter, and maybe we're having a different outlook.
Well, I mean, Boston scored 40 in the fourth quarter.
40 in the fourth quarter, so that just goes to show you. And Skip, he was 12 of 25, 7 of 14 from the 3. He had 5 assists, 5 rebounds, 3 steals. So he was doing it, and he'll play passing lanes, but he's not a defender. He's such an asset on the offensive end that you're willing to look at some of the liabilities that he gives you on the defensive end. But I thought he played really well. He just needed someone else to go along with him, and he didn't get that last night. Now, 6 threes normally, and he's going in like that, you're like, damn, it's going to be one of those nights. But that's not what the Celtics did. They're made of something different mentally. He's got those guys locked in, and so no matter what they're doing, and he said, yeah, but guys, y'all letting him take free throw threes. He wide ass open. It's like the referee just passed him the ball, and because he's like, oh, I'm this wide open? Y'all must have forgot I'm Steph Curry. Boop, whoop, whoop. And he got going. So, Skip, I gave him an A-. I know it didn't end the way. I thought he was well on his way to a 50-point ball game, considering he had 21 in the first quarter. I said, if he does anything in the second quarter, Skip, he's going to. But I thought they kind of probably left him out a little bit too long, and he lost a little bit of his rhythm, because I think he missed the first 6 minutes of the second quarter. Yeah,
I have no idea what that was about. But he comes in and scores 0 the rest of the second quarter.
But Skip, that's normally what they do. They try to and they were playing well. So it was a situation like we can get him some rest here because we don't want Steph playing 40 minutes unless he absolutely positively have to. But I gave him an A-, Skip. Yeah, I understand it didn't end the way it started. But I don't really know how much better that he can play. Maybe he spreads that 34 over. Maybe he gives you 10 in the first, another 6 or 7 in the second, and then saves maybe 13 to 14 for the fourth quarter. But there's nothing he could have done. If Boston's going to shoot like they shot in the fourth quarter, Skip, he better have a 30-point quarter in his bag to offset what Boston did to them in that fourth quarter.
Okay, it is my turn, and my friend Kevin Durant is not going to like this, and I don't care. I'm going to give effing Stephen a flat-out F.
F?
An F, as in flunk, as in epic fail, because that was an epic fail by a player that you told me going into last night was on the verge of, with just one Finals MVP, vaulting into the all-time top 10.
Yes.
Said Shannon.
Yes, absolutely.
Said a whole bunch of people.
Yes.
Said the runaway media train.
Somebody told me he's going to be the GOAT. He'd be in the GOAT conversation with a championship.
Somebody said that he's going to be better than LeBron. He could be.
And you co-signed it.
I didn't. I just was gigging you. I was poking the bear across me with it. I do not believe that. But because his bar is set so high,
and it should be.
Because this is game 1 in his house, not Oracle, but it's the new place across the bay, but it's still his house, where they had not lost a playoff game this year. You can't do what you did to your team and to me for betting on you. I don't know what a fool I was. I should have listened to myself. But I'm going to give you an F because it's a very simple equation here. In the first quarter, he makes 6 of his first 7 threes. The last came with 26 seconds left in the first quarter. From that moment on till the bitter end of that game, he made 1 of his next 7 threes. You just can't do it. And that one came with 9:33 left in the third quarter, and it put them up 4 points. So all the rest of the way. So he scores 21 in the first quarter. Then he scores 0 in the second, 9 in the third, and only 4 in the fourth. So 21 points in the first quarter, followed by 13 total points in the next 3 quarters is an F for somebody who's on the verge of vaulting into the all-time top 10. I'm setting the bar way high because I think most people would say he's by far the best player in this series, right? Wouldn't most people?
Yeah.
Who wouldn't say that? Okay. All right. So if in the end, if you're up 15 with 2 minutes left in the third quarter, it is up to you as a potential all-time top 10 player to get this game home with a 15-point lead. And instead, you're in the middle of getting outscored 48-18 and to go up 15 to all the way down 15 with 16 seconds left in the game when Bielitsa hits a meaningless 3.
Right.
But that stopped a run of 48-18 visiting team that you should have stopped again and again and again. So again, I'm a little bitter today because this is vintage final Steph. This is what happened in games 5, 6, and 7 and gifted LeBron a ring back in 2016 after Steph and company led 3-1. He shrank and he disappeared in games 5, 6, and 7. I've beaten you over the head with the stats, but in the fourth quarters of those 3 games, he shot 3 of 12 from 3.
Right.
And in the fourth quarter of game 7 at home, he shot 1 of 6 from 3. It's just not good enough in a nip-tuck game that you should have won. You should have been the difference. You should have brought home a ring in a series of finals in which you had a 3-1 lead. It's up to you. You're the superstar on that team. Again, there's not Durant yet. There is Clay. There's Draymond. But it's MVP. You had just been the MVP that year.
Unanimously.
You couldn't bring it home. And in I know I'm raising his bar high, but 2019, he doesn't have KD. He's about to not have Clay. But in games 3, 4, 5, and the closeout game 6, he shot 33% from 3. And he missed a 3 that would have forced a game 7. I think we have that. I want to remind everybody, this is what we're dealing with. This is the walk-off shot that he could have made in the closeout game 6.
That was a heck of a play.
Yeah, it was a good design. And he gets a pretty good look for him, the greatest shooter ever. You got to make this. You got to make one of these sometime to change the series, to force a game 7. Right. Okay? You didn't. And down the stretch of game 7, this gifted LeBron a ring. And I take nothing away from LeBron, but he played very well. Kyrie played very well.
Yeah,
LeBron had the chase.
Kyrie averaged 30 over the last 3 games.
All right. But this is 2016, the last 6:05 of that game. I'm just going to show you again because it was reminiscent of what happened last night. Last 6:05, Steph Curry, he tied the game with the 3. I'm sorry, put them up 3 with the 3 with 6:05 left. And then could we see what happened in his next 4 shots? This is in 2016, game 7. Game 7, God, that missed the rim.
I think RJ bumped and Richard Jefferson jumped. Well, that was Skip. That you got to knock that one down.
Wide left.
Yes.
You're starting to alligator arm it. You're starting to.
But that was great defense by Kyrie.
That hit nothing but glass, right?
And Kevin Love does a great job here moving his feet.
Thought he had him. Kevin Love's all over him.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll give you contested there. But this is the greatest shooter ever.
Yeah.
And we had a story yesterday that called him. It was a Howard Beck story. Called him the greatest tough shot maker ever. You know who called it? It's Karl Anthony Towns called him that.
Yes.
Greatest tough shot maker ever.
Right.
Well, you got to make some of those. So he doesn't make any of those shots all the way down the stretch of game 7. And the scores at that point, this is game 7 of 2016. You got, this is the one from last night. I'm sorry. Let me get my Steph sheet here. 2016. These shots were to go up 4, and then to go up 3, and then to go up 3, so the game's tied. And then he missed a 3 to tie with 31 seconds left, and that was the one that Kevin Love defended.
Skip, the only shot that I really think that he should have made, he was wide open. And we saw him last night, Skip, when they left him wide open. He banged all of those shots that he made. Other than that, those were very tough. Now, as Karl Anthony Towns said, excuse me, he's a great tough shot maker. Those would have been great shots had he made them. The one over Kyrie, the one over Tristan. The guys were challenging those shots, and we've seen him make those shots a lot of times. But that one wide open, Skip, I will concede that one to you. He probably knocks that down 6 out of 10 times, and he missed it. And he thought he had it. He thought he had it lined up perfectly. But Skip, somebody's going to have to go. These teams now in today's game, Skip, these teams are too good to have one guy go off, and if one guy doesn't go along with him, I give you Exhibit A. Kevin Durant, greatest game ever. That 48-17-10. People forget Jeff Green made 8 of 9. You came in and talking about Jeff Green, big three after big three.
And Blake.
And Blake Griffin chipped in with 19.
He did.
Steph needed someone to come along with him, especially in the fourth when he didn't have it going, Skip.
Yeah, Steph in the fourth quarter took 1 3 and missed it. He took only one 3 and missed it, while the Celtics are making 9. What do you think is going to happen?
you
know what's going to happen.
Yeah, unless you got a 30-point lead.
Clay just didn't get up enough shots because he took 3 shots in the fourth quarter and made 2, and he took the 1 3 and made that. Right. It was a big one. It looked like at the moment it was going to stem the tide.
What Boston did a great job of last night is making sure late in the clock, the ball ended up in whose hand? Draymond's. That's where we want it. I don't want the ball in Clay's hand. I don't want the ball in Steph's hand, even late in the shot clock, because both of those guys can make those tough shots. Shot clock running down, contested. I want Draymond, even if it's uncontested. Wide open shot, let Draymond have a corner 3. Let Draymond have a top of the key 3. Let Draymond I'm good with that. And you're going to live with that, Skip. I'm going to live with the ball in Draymond's hand late in the shot clock. I live with that.
Okay. I have mounting evidence off last night that Steph Curry was not born with the clutch gene. He is clearly the greatest shooter ever until the stakes get high in big postseason, especially final series.
Okay.
And then you cannot trust him. And there's some reason he doesn't have a finals MVP yet. And it's not all because of this, but it's in part because